I don't like that. But okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there was something that happened at the tail end of the Johnny Depp coverage, or kind of 3/4 of the way through. Is a big thing, a big to do, but it's been almost a year now since that happened. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure, I don't mind.
I think it's all water under the bridge for everybody now, for the most part, kind of.
Maybe we still don't know. There's one party that remains unknown since October of 2022, because that can of worms, whoo, I still can't believe it.
It's okay. So do you want to summarize it? Should I? Because I was watching it happen.
Either way, man. I mean, I was in it, you were watching it, and you were in it. So
yeah. So Morgan Tremaine is a TMZ reporter. He is up on the stand. He's being cross-examined by Elaine Bredehoft, the attorney for Amber Heard. And she asks him, isn't this just your opportunity for your 15 minutes in the sun? And he says, isn't your representation of Amber Heard your opportunity for 15 minutes in the sun? And you had a face. Do you want to make it? Can you make the face? Oh, there it is. The famous face.
I was shocked. I mean, as a lawyer, as a litigator, when you have such a when you have so much experience, and you've seen, when I've asked the cop with a straight face in the middle of my trial, did you smell the odor of alcoholic beverages? This is on YouTube. Yes, I did. Where was it coming from? It was coming from the vehicle. Was the car drunk? I asked him that with a straight face.
And I watched that one.
He was so stunned, like, and you have these little moments in your pocket, and then you witness such glory in the most epic trial. As I still like to call it, the trial of the century. I don't even know if it deserves the title, the defamation trial of the century. I think it narrows it down too much. It is the trial of the century until something else comes along.
It's the biggest trial since OJ. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. And that was last century, right?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, when you see that and your body just, oh my gods, and everybody reacted in the same way. I mean, that's,
yeah, we all,
I was singled out.
Everybody on my show did. Everybody in the courtroom did. And my favorite thing was Elaine did.
Yep. She went, I'm glad you caught that too.
She got
Johnny Depp's team. I mean, and I'm sure if we had like a camera pan to everybody else on her team, it's very possible that they did too. We just couldn't see them because they were off camera.
Yeah. Everybody reacted. It was the most organic reaction possible. It was this really, it was this great moment. Cause like you said, and we've talked about this and demonstrated it by watching plenty of trials. The overwhelming majority of court is boring. It is horrifically uninteresting. There's nothing happening. Everybody has planned out all of their questions. They're anticipating the answers because sometimes they've done depositions or they have answers to interrogatories. And the only thing that surprises anybody is when something is either completely contradicting a prior statement, or they didn't expect someone to actually answer a question. They expected maybe an objection to stop it, and they finally get to do something. But these are little victories that happen where you're like, oh, cool. Yeah. Well, one of my favorites was when same trial, obviously, Johnny Depp's lawyer is sitting there next to Depp, and they're asking Amber Heard to talk, and she mentions the Kate Moss story about Johnny Depp kicking, and he goes, yeah. And we're all like, what the hell was that? Like, he's really excited. But then you figure, oh, wait, now they get to bring in Kate Moss. They didn't expect Amber Heard's team to elicit that testimony. They kind of hoped they did. They got it. It was great. That's the normal kind of reaction you get, is some little celebration of some unexpected thing. This was just it was a racquetball shot to the face of Elaine. So much so that even she had to kind of acknowledge, yeah, I just got owned there because I tried to get snippy with someone who was just as quick-witted, or probably more quick-witted, and it came back. It was not a big deal, but it got made into a big deal, right? Like, all of this sudden, this is like one of the most egregious breaches of courtroom decorum that could happen. And I was very confused by that.
You and the rest of the world.
We're all like, what the hell is going on? Why is this a big deal? Like everybody reacted this way. And then suddenly, where we were all like, everybody's kind of friendly, suddenly there's this rift that grows out of this weird fucking thing. What was your side of that? Like I don't know, take on it? I don't know how to describe it.
Well, let me put it into perspective for you from my lens, from my point of view.
Sure.
So it happens on a Wednesday. Closing arguments are Friday. So we're like a day away, 2 days away. Because it's all happening in real time, I don't really have eyes and ears everywhere yet. I mean, I have people. It's amazing when you do good work, people help you achieve what you cannot achieve on your own. They become like
Right.
your little birds. If you've seen Game of Thrones, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not calling myself Varys because Varys is a
Varys is a fucking creep.
cunning, creepy weirdo. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that where you have these little spies who feed you information, which you would otherwise never discover. So I'm very thankful for all my little birds, if you will.
Right.
And they feed me information to this day, a lot of them, and they change. You know, it's not like the same people.
Yeah,
Sometimes
people see stuff. Here we go. We got the picture. We got the original NFT right there.
Oh my god! Please take that off. I can't look at it. It's too much. It's too much. Again, you know, because anyway, so here I am, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm talking about what happened in court and blah blah blah. And I think this is now Thursday or something like that. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go and maybe invite some, because I haven't really done this. I've been kind of running solo all these years, and even through this trial, kind of running solo. I mean, I would appear on your show, talk about it during the breaks, you know, in the courtyard with my phone walking around. I would appear on Emily D. Baker's. You know, I would do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But this was like, oh my gosh, I have time. Finally, I think I ate. I was happy. I was elated. I was on cloud 9. We had all this fun stuff happen. Let me go, invite some law tuber that maybe is on the internet right now to come talk on my show. And I open up my Twitter inbox, and people have told me they've watched this live, and they watched my reaction go from like a 10 to like a 7 to like a 3, and eventually like maybe a 0 or -2. Like my facial reaction, they said my face said it all, and they didn't know what the heck was going on.
Right.
Because I read it, and all I said was like a certain law tuber has banned James and I from their stream. And after that, I felt so deflated and defeated. I was like, what the hell happened? That was my first thought, because 2 + 2 = 97 in my head. I had no idea what the source was. Nobody sent me any clips of any videos. I had zero knowledge as to what triggered such a immense reaction. And why James? Why didn't they why isn't Ian and Rob and like Kurt or Nate or Nick or anybody else included in that? Well, the message was from LB.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of called it out, and I just left it at that. Well, the next day, which must have been Thursday, because it couldn't have been Friday, because Friday is when I didn't get in. I got so much questions that I finally addressed the issue, and I did what some people called the unthinkable. I completely disagree, because I had to call out the bullshit. Because that's one thing I do not stand for, is bullshit. If you're going to fuck me to my face. Don't do it from behind, because I will turn around and I will grab you by the neck and I'll show you to the world. You know what I mean?
Right, of course.
Because that's just despicable. So, and that's what happened. I read her DM. I didn't plaster it. I just kind of copied and pasted it and put it in a Word document to hide like any other identifying information. And I read her DM and explaining that you're full of shit. This makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know why you're doing this. And I was very upset. even now you can probably tell. Like, I'm
of course you were
remembering this.
upset. Like that's the crazy thing here. One, just to give you a pause from having to explain it, like you were there. Legal Bites, me, Emily D. Baker, we're sitting at home and we're making very good money doing the live trial coverage, right? Like we're actively doing that. You're there in the courtroom, which means you have a massive opportunity cost of you could have sat and taken the gamble and streamed the trial from your house. You might have been successful. You might have not. You don't know. We were just that's how it panned out. We were very successful with that. And I'm not saying you didn't see plenty of success on your end. Obviously, we like anybody who covered the trial did really well. And we can talk about this in a minute. One of my favorite things in the world was watching that go away. But only because I said it would, and then it did, and it was kind of funny. Like
when you're riding the wave and all of a sudden you're on shore and you don't know what to do. Like, where's the next wave? And there isn't one.
But I knew that was going to happen because I went through it with Rittenhouse.
You had experience.
Yeah, and I tried to kind of explain that, but I'll get to that in a second. But so you are there, so you're giving up this potential opportunity. You have a limited ability to stream. You have to do it at night. You have to do it from not your house using like a phone. And anybody who's done that knows, especially with like super chats, it's really hard to keep up with them. It's really hard to encourage them when you're trying to read them on a tiny screen and all of that stuff. So you're there. And then to have someone take this organic reaction that the entire courtroom had, that nobody cared about on earth except for apparently this, like, I don't want to say it was one person because it wasn't just one, but this one like locus of people decided that it was bad. And then you get banned. And it's like, you weren't massively benefiting from showing up there. Like you were, it was beneficial because people got to know you and see you, sure, but it's not like you had a direct benefit from it. And it was definitely a benefit to whatever show you came. That's, I brought you guys on partially because it's beneficial to me. It makes my coverage better by getting your perspectives and all of that stuff. And people are asking me to do it. So I'm getting a benefit from it. So to then have someone ban you is like, wait, what the hell did I do? Like, I didn't do anything. And it kind of, it casts an aspersion on your reputation, right? That you should have known. You're a lawyer. You shouldn't act like this. It's like, wait a minute. None of this added up. It was very, very strange. Yeah. So just to kind of like relay to the chat a little bit, that's the kind of things that made the situation so messed up, and why I think Larry was very justifiably angry at how that played out. And I was too, by the way. I think that became clear.
You made a video not taking any sides that was later interpreted to you taking sides. That's basically it in a nutshell. I think I can summarize that.
Right. But in my video, like, I didn't want to go after anyone. And I tried to give a lot of deference because my growing up on YouTube came through the internet blood sports community. And then it came from Comicsgate, and then this Anime Gate thing. And all of those communities had the same issues that LawTube would eventually have. That all manifested and started in that moment was that when there's money involved and then drama starts to sell, people manufacture the drama for the money. And I'm not saying that that's what happened at this moment, but that is what ended up happening in the LawTube space. Is that drama just kept manifesting and metastasizing, and it really fractured everything, and it always screws everything up. It's like, we have a really good thing going here. Everybody likes everybody. Everybody's on everybody's shows. Everybody in the audiences are all happy with pretty much anybody. Like, you might have some people who aren't your favorite, but you don't hate anyone. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can't watch this person anymore, or this person, or I can't watch a show and that person's a guest because they're evil and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this is the dumbest shit ever. And I've watched community after community after community do it. And I'm trying to issue a warning. I'm like, please don't do this. Don't be like this. And I just think some people saw a lot of money really fast, and they went, I have to protect this because this is my box. my
You know what I
box of
call
income.
that? I call that having a lack of a crystal ball.
Yeah.
You are lucky, you are blessed, and so am I, in that we see the forest for the trees. You know, a lot of people just look down and they see a patch of grass and they say, "This is my patch of grass." We look up and we try to see the tops of the trees, like how many years is it going to take for this tree to grow? Can I go down this path? Oh, there are thorns here. I shouldn't go here. That's, in a nutshell, that simply boils down to experience.